Another type of ghosts that follow us around throughout the incarnations are lover ghosts, or we should maybe better say ex-lover ghosts. Sometimes we are very attached to a person. We love them above all else. And so when the time of death comes, and then when the time of going into heaven comes, we decide to rather stick around with that loved person and maybe help them or observe them or just be near to them. That sounds very romantic, but of course, the lover ghost, they will also try to manipulate the one they loved with their biases, what they think is good for them, and many times they do not like the partner the new partners of the loved one, and they can create a lot of havoc in relationships. So they're not good to have around either. And then, of course, another group are the past life ghosts. The parts of us in past lives that did not ascend. Not every person or personality goes into the higher dimension after death. Many of them don't even know they're dead yet. In battlefields you find a lot of ghosts, quite unconscious, just wandering around, going through the same loop of their trauma again. There are so many stories about haunted places. So we should check whether we have some of those ghosts from our past still around, because they also try to affect us. It's very easy for them to affect us because of our similarities coming from the same soul. And I think they deserve to go to heaven and not having to try to live their life through us, which of course is very confusing for ourselves and for the mission we came into this life, to perform. And then of course there is the whole host of local ghosts, people that did not move on, they are maybe do not know they're dead, and just live a normal routine, in the house that you're living or in the forest that are around your place. Or they are maybe guarding some treasure, or are attached to the land. Maybe they were the owners of that farm or of the house, and that is the dearest thing, and they're there to protect it, to manage it. So these can also, drain your life force and affect your life through their telepathic influence. There are many stories for my clients that I can tell regarding pains. There was one client, and we realized he was carrying a ghost for many lifetimes, and when we went to the place where the ghost had entered originally, it was kind of medieval times, and this ghost, this human, the human that he was before he was a ghost, had taken during the winter time, had taken in a family that was without food and shelter, and let them live with him and let them eat his food reserves, under the assumption that they would take care of him and take him with him when they would leave. But then come spring, they had eaten all his food and they just left him to die. And due to this wrong, he somehow earned the right to live in their bodies as a punishment for them. And so we apologized to him and sent him off to heaven. And immediately when this ghost left, my client reported that this neck pain that he had had for years, and he had tried everything to get rid of it, nothing worked, and now it was gone. As soon as this thing left, now it was gone. Another story about another client of mine, and of course the identity is changed. Let's call her Kathy. Kathy was a psychic person, but she was a businesswoman in New York. And she told me that she was a queen in one lifetime. And as soon as I heard that, I checked to see how many ghosts she had, especially enemy ghosts, because, as royalty, we tend to accumulate a lot of karma, or a lot of enemies through our deeds, misdeeds maybe, or negligence, or wars, whatever. There are always plenty of people that hate us. And I checked, and she had many ghosts. And when I cleared them, and I hardly ever cleared as many ghosts at a time, she wrote me back that she could feel how the mood of general disapproval that was always surrounding her was lifted from her. That the people in her conference room referred to her in a benevolent way. Before they used to refer to her too, and she attributed this to her queenly influence, but it was generally in a hostile manner. But now there was benevolent in her environment, and she attributed this to the lack of the negative telepathic influence of the ghosts. And so she thanked me very much, because her life had gotten more charm, had gotten the charm back. So there are few people that have hardly any ghost following them, and that is probably when they had just very few incarnations, and there are those people around here, Lightworkers, but there are also Lightworkers that have been around since Atlantis or Lemuria for a long time. And I have to tell you, it made a lot of difference in my life, in my personal life, clearing those ghosts. And in general, I can do this in one session, which takes about an hour and a half. If you have any more questions, please let me know. You can contact me via email, and I'm available for consultations over Skype and the phone. Namaste.